Welcome back to the Fab Four podcast. I'm your host, Alic Williams. We're glad you've joined us today, and if you haven't already, go ahead and give us a like and a follow on our social media accounts. Glad to be joined today by my co-hosts, Scott Franklin and Todd Polston. We have a great show planned for today with two great guests. Our guest today is Akoy Agau and Matthew Melander. Is that right?
Yeah, that's close. Matt Melander, perfect.
Melander, okay. Go ahead and introduce yourself if y'all don't mind for the people that don't know who you are.
Yeah, so I'm Matt Melander, and former basketball manager for University of Louisville men's basketball team. And and then it's my business partner, Akoy Agau.
My name is Akoy Agau. Played college basketball at the University of Louisville, Georgetown, SMU, and went back and finished up at Louisville. And currently, not currently, but I was playing professionally overseas before Corona hit. And I'm from Omaha, Nebraska. We're here today to talk about our business that we put together.
Yeah, Akoy, if you don't mind, go ahead and the big news, I guess, that's in the news right now in the sports world is y'all's virtual NCAA tournament you put together. You want to go ahead and give a little info on that for the people?
Yeah, absolutely. I think first we'll try to explain what we kind of do as a company before we
go ahead. Yeah.
Come to the NCAA tournament, virtual NCAA tournament. So me and Matt have known each other for about, 7-8 years now. Became really close over time. And just right around this time last summer, I was in LA training, and then I ended up coming back to Louisville. And he had the idea about doing this business, this video game business. And so we sat down together and we kind of put everything together, brainstormed what the company was going to do, what our aim is, and everything like that. And we ended up, obviously, the business is called Primetime Sports. And what we use is Twitch's platform. And what we do is bring on kind of whoever falls in the celebrity realm, whether if it's athletes, artists, huge personality figures, comedians, kind of whoever has a large following that fans want to have access to ask questions or just kind of feel a part of or whatever it is. Because you got to think about it. Some of these guys have millions of followers. And if you go look in their comments, they got 100,000 comments of people just, asking questions, making comments, just kind of wanting to interact with them in whatever possible way they can. So, me and Matt haven't been at Louisville together, and then also kind of all around and the friends that we have, we saw the rise in the video game world. And more individuals are starting to play it. For us, I say, we say celebrities, we're going to continue to say athletes because that's what, we're used to. But the athletes that we were all around played video games all the time. College, we got friends in the pros who play all the time. And so Twitch is a live streaming platform. So we made a channel on Twitch, and we bring on, celebrities on to kind of stream themselves playing whatever game it is that they want to play from the comfort of their own space, their house, wherever it is. And then we allow fans to come on to the stream, watch this individual play, and have the opportunity to pay a small fee to get their questions answered by that fan. If Matt, you want to elaborate on that?
Yeah, so basically fans can come on. There's a little donate button. You click here to donate. It's $5 per question. And if you want to ask a question to the athlete, you click that, you donate $5, and then we will ask that question to the athlete. And then we added a charity aspect to it as well, where we take a percentage of that money that is donated, and we partner with the charity every single month and donate a percentage of all the donation money to a charity.
So just to kind of add on to that, so I'm going to always throw out LeBron because that's my favorite player. I'm a LeBron James guy. So we haven't gotten him on yet, but we're going to in the future. But let's just say, LeBron says, hey, I'm free Monday night. I can play from this time to this time. He comes on the stream. He decides he wants to play 2K. Fans come on to ask all these questions. And let's just say at the end of the time that LeBron gets done playing, I don't know, it's LeBron James, so it wouldn't be too absurd. But say he raises $100,000 within the 3 or 4 hours he's playing. So then what we turn around and do is, so we would split the money with LeBron in half. So then LeBron kind of has 3 options from there. He keeps the money. He can kind of do whatever it is that he wants to with that money. That's none of our business. He can donate it, obviously, to his charity. Obviously, LeBron does a lot of philanthropy work, and he has his I Promise School. Or third, what we do as a company is we obviously partner with that charity every month. He has the option to donate to that also. But then obviously with our percentage that we got, we partner with a different charity or foundation for that month, and then which we take a percentage of that money and donate it to that specific charity. And so that's the basis of our company. And then obviously Corona hit and everything like that, and the NCAA tournament was canceled. And so we decided, what if we did a virtual NCAA tournament? And so the way we went about that is we took Joe Lunardi's last bracketology that he kind of put out of what would have possibly been the NCAA tournament. And so we just kind of used that format to get guys. So what we did was get either seniors from these universities, guys who were, graduated and not coming back, or guys who were potentially going pro, rather if it's overseas, NBA, whatever it is in any capacity, basketball-wise, to participate, because obviously we couldn't have any current student athletes due to NCAA violations and stuff like that. So, the basis is for them to practically play out the NCAA tournament as the video game, leading to a result. A lot of work went into it, and so kind of one of the problems so we used 2K, which is the NBA game, and Matthew went in and created all the teams. So Matt did that. I'm not a tech guy, so that's all him. I have to kind of explain how he went through that.
Yeah, so basically, with 2K, people have roster files and things like that. So basically what we had to do was we went in, looked at some roster files that had college basketball teams, and then we had to go through and edit all of those teams as well to make sure that we had every single team from the NCAA tournament edited with their names, their likeness, their height, weight. If they're a shooter, they got good shooting stats. So basically going through all that and changing all of those. And then also going through and changing their uniforms and things like that so that they actually wear their college uniforms in courts and stuff when they play.
And then also kind of on top of that, just lost my train of thought. I was trying to show you guys an example of kind of one of the courts that we had. I don't know if you guys can see that.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. See it. That's nice.
Looks good.
Yeah. So, so when we were reaching out, so I had to DM these guys, call coaches that I may have known. And at first we said we were going to do Xbox only. Of course, there's an issue because a lot of guys ended up having PlayStation. And so Matt, I say we, I did none of that. Matt actually had to go in when we first decided we were going to do Xbox, and he created all those teams through Xbox. And then when I started getting feedback from these guys of what systems they had, we started having guys saying they had PlayStation. So Matt had to turn around and do the complete same thing through PlayStation. It took him a very, very long time to do that, obviously trying to get as precise as possible. I know with the guys that we've had on, they've argued a couple of things, but, Matt did the best he can to try to get as close as possible to their, regular skill set in real life. So basically how the tournament is formatted, so we'll actually put out the bracket today. We're finalizing it. But so one side is all PlayStation, one side is all Xbox. And I actually kept Joe Lunardi's bracket pretty the same, which is the nice part about it. I mean, people won't really know what the bracket would have been anyways, but we just try to keep it as similar as possible. So the Xbox side is going to play it out. The PlayStation side is going to play it out. So there's going to be a winner from each side. And then we're going to, flip a coin or whatever it may be to decide what the championship game is going, what console the championship game is going to be played on, whether if it's Xbox or PlayStation. And then the winner is going to receive $2,000. And then we're also going to purchase them the new PlayStation 5 when it comes out, or they can get the cash equivalent of it.
That's nice.
Wow. Yeah, really is.
Now, were you able to get every team, somebody from every team?
No, sir. We got about 40 to 45 guys. I'm going to call back, finalize guys today and put that bracket out. But we're right at around the 40 to 46 range as far as guys.
Still impressive.
Some guys didn't have seniors. like Oregon didn't have, well, they had some seniors who just didn't play at all. They didn't have any, managers or GAs in it. So we even kept it open to even get, GAs or managers to play, because obviously they're a very big part of those programs too. I remember Texas had literally no seniors, no nothing. So we weren't able to get everyone, but 40 or so our first year, I think is pretty good. And, it's only going to build momentum for next year. And then also partner for the tournament, the donation money. This is kind of the biggest aspect for us. Obviously, we're big into philanthropy and charities and giving back and stuff. Is we're partnered with Direct Relief, which is a COVID-19 based charity, and kind of the main reason for that we chose that was because everything going on and these doctors and nurses who are on the front line and not having all the right equipment they need and stuff like that, and trying to help Scott keep his wife safe from coronavirus in Florida. That was really important for us to be able to do something with that. And also for me, it was personal because my mom's actually in McAllen, Texas right now, helping out at a hospital. So she's there, on the front lines working. And then we also chose, it's called Save the Children.
Save the Children, yep.
And that basically helps feed kids, not only in the U.S., but also across the world. And, that's an organization that is all over, helps a ton of kids. And then, that thought process is kind of more like, there's some kids who are in the school system that their only meal they get is from school, or they rely on, summer programs where they get their meals. And when those two things are non-existent, there's not many options of where they can maybe get their meals from. And so that was kind of the basis and thought behind that charity and both of those together.
Akoy, about when did y'all start coming up with this idea of the virtual tournament?
It was kind of about April or March or April, right when the NCAA tournament got canceled. We were trying to think, how could we get back to these guys that played? Because, we were both involved. Obviously, he played and I was involved in the basketball program. And the NCAA March Madness, that's the greatest 3 weeks in sports, and there's really nothing like it. There's no real way to recreate that experience, but we wanted to do the best thing possible by that, which was doing it virtually. And we saw all these guys doing these virtual tournaments and what could have happened and what would have happened. And we thought, what better way than have the guys actually get one representative and be able to play it out and, do a little cash prize at the end for some of these guys and be able to help them out through maybe they're struggling or maybe they're just want to, have some extra money in the bank. And we thought it'd be really cool just to be able to put all this together. And we're glad we finally got to that point.
Hey guys, my question is this, and I have a son that's 21 years old. He's a senior at Western Kentucky University, and he's into video games big time. He played, he's a pretty good athlete and all that stuff in high school, but he's into video games. And I sit there and watch him when I'm around him when he's home, watching other people play video games. And I look at him all the time going, what the heck are you doing? Shouldn't you be playing the video game instead of watching? And he goes, I ain't paying them though. I'm amazed at how many people, according to him, and I don't know anything about it, how many people pay to watch Ninja or whatever names he tells me. I don't know all of them. And he says, you don't understand how much money they make anytime they play, and people pay to watch them play. I can't imagine I don't know what guys you guys have ever had on your primetime stuff yet, but I can't imagine, like you said, with LeBron James or anybody that's well known, how many people be willing to donate $5, $10, whatever, to ask him a question. Right. So who have you guys had on so far?
So just kind of first on your statement as far as, watching your son sometimes watch others and he may not be playing. At the end of the day, it's, when back in the day when you used to tell him, you can't get a career out of video games or you're not going to get anywhere with video games. Well,
don't say that. He's going to watch this and he's going to he's got one semester left.
Oh, never mind. But at the end of the day, it's the profession aspect of it, and just like watching sports, it's just a world that people love. There's people who don't love watching real sports or watching college basketball, which is crazy to say, or watching the NCAA tournament, but would much rather play video games the whole time. So that's kind of some people's love and passion, and that's kind of what it's turned to. But as far as guys we've had on, we had an old teammate of mine, Isaac Copeland, who I played at Georgetown with. He ended up finishing up at Nebraska. And then he was in the G League with the Dallas Mavericks. We had Marina Marbury, who plays for the Los Angeles Sparks. We had Isaiah Hicks, who played for North Carolina. So those are some of the guys that we've kind of had on. And then now we're doing this. And then we're actually working on in the works of getting some NBA guys. So we've based off our tournament to finish on the 29th is when we're going to do the championship. Just because we want to finish right before the NBA starts. But we're in the works of potentially getting some guys from the NBA bubble to come on after, the NCAA tournament's over. You saw on Twitter all these guys, holding a big old screen in one hand and their Xbox or PlayStation in the other, because that's also just a big, huge part of their lives. So it'd be great when and if we can get into there and get some guys on here on our platform.
Todd,
do you have a pick for who you think's going to win the virtual tournament based on who you got?
Well, Louisville was in the championship, so
that's what I like to hear.
I had a feeling that was going to happen.
Hey, Todd. Tom Juris made this bracket up too.
I was going to say, Alic has
brackets.
set us up 100% for this setup.
And UK is going to start their game with down 46 points.
I also believe that too.
No, not at all. I mean, I guess that's the other thing. I don't think for me, either of us really picked someone to win. We haven't really seen everybody play yet. Maybe when we get through the first round of games and we got that kind of second round, we've seen everybody. Maybe we'll kind of pick who our favorite. I mean, we've had a lot. So this is the thing that's been great about it. We've had some phenomenal individuals on there. Even guys who have lost us, who have been great to talk to, who are funny. And just have really, really enjoyed having them on. And it's just been really fun to see them on and having fun enjoying this and trying to possibly see what could have been. So it's been fun along the way, man.
Yeah.
Most importantly, who's representing the University of Louisville and who's representing the University of Kentucky?
Well, Louisville's going to be a secret. Kentucky's going to be Emmanuel Quickly.
I knew that's who that was going to. I knew that was for sure.
So it's going to be all out there today. It's going to be, we're finalizing. When we get off of this, we're going to put it all together, finish it up, and then we're going to get it out there. So I'll send that over to you, Alec.
All right, sounds good.
Yes, sir.
So
Awesome.
Out of the 40-some you have that's going to play in it, can you name some of the bigger ones that are big-name guys that are in it?
I can absolutely do that for you.
Yeah, off the top of my head, Lamar Stevens from Penn State, Kerry Blackshear from Florida, and Emmanuel Quickly. Wow, can't talk this morning. Emmanuel Quickly from UK, obviously. Who's some other guys that you're?
Devon Dotson from Kansas.
Yeah.
Anthony Cowan from Maryland. Who else? Devontae Green from Indiana.
Oh, Xavier Simpson from Michigan.
Yep.
He played last night. He won, so he's still in it.
Oh my God.
So who's already played? I know that. Did y'all start this Wednesday? Is that right?
Yeah, we started on Wednesday.
So Lamar Stevens from Penn State won against Baylor.
Yep.
And then Wisconsin's Byron Pritzel.
Yep.
He beat New Mexico State's
Trevlin Queen.
Yep. And then Liberty's Scotty James beat
UCLA's Prince Adams.
Yep.
Prince Adams.
Ooh.
And then
upset city
big upset.
already.
Yeah, that was our first big upset. Was Liberty over UCLA, and then Michigan played last night and they beat Richmond. So Xavier Simpson, and then for Richmond we had manager Ryan Hartford representing them because they didn't have any seniors. And then Stephen F. Austin's Kayvon Harris beat East Tennessee State's Joe Hughley last night. So, yeah, we've had a couple upsets and then got a couple just powerhouses moving on so far.
So we try to, get those games going early in the week. We're going to have a pretty good busy slate for this weekend, kind of when people are around to kind of watch, especially tonight. Have some good games on, and then Saturday and Sunday. So when people are kind of around, not working, I can tune in.
Yep, sounds good. I'm going to take it off the video game side of it and talk about your time at Louisville, both of y'all's time. What was one of your best memories at U of L, but for both of you?
That's a great question.
I got to say, even though we ended up losing, we got cheated, of course, by UK. Like for example, when the Harrison twins' foot was out of bounds while he's dribbling the ball and the ref is staring at his foot, but somehow the play continued. But that's another story. But playing in the Sweet 16, man, was my best memory because there's just like obviously the NCAA tournament, being a part of it was just ridiculous. But our Sweet 16 game was inside Lucas Oil Stadium. The court was kind of raised, and it was in Indianapolis, so it was all red and blue in that place, and it was nerve-wracking. It was cool to see. It was fun. It was exciting. It was just all these different emotions at once, and competing in such a big game in the Sweet 16 my freshman year.
I would have to say my junior year when we beat UK at home, when we beat Malik Monk and that team with Donovan Mitchell and all of them. I remember leading up to that game, very intense practices with Coach P, getting ready for those and getting ready for the game. I remember the game just kind of freaking out during the whole time, thinking, this is because we hadn't beat them yet since I'd been there. I was like, can this be the year we actually get them? And we finally did, and then it was just a lot of fun after we were able to win. That or my sophomore year, that whole year was great with Damian Lee and Trey Lewis.
Akoy, I got a question for you on like a personal note. How did you, I know it's probably a long story, but how did you get from where you were born to Nebraska of all places?
So I can tell you the whole story, or you can actually go on Amazon and order my book. It's called Citizen Akoy, The Making of a South Sudanese American. And it just kind of details my journey from Sudan to Nebraska.
Right. I was going to say from the Sudan. Yeah.
Right. Just we had to flee Sudan due to war. Then we ended up settling in Egypt, and Egypt was kind of a hub where a lot of refugees kind of moved to because, they were more advanced with technology, had a lot more connections with the different, countries all across the world. And so from there, we got helped with the church in Maryland that helped us kind of get us over. So when we first moved to the U.S. and moved to Maryland, we were in Westminster, Maryland, small town, smallish town. And that's kind of where, learning English and eating stupid fast food and, cotton candy and going on roller coaster rides and just kind of experiencing the whole American culture. We were in Maryland about 3 years or so, and then we ended up moving to Nebraska. Nebraska actually has the largest South Sudanese population in the United States. It actually might be in the world, outside of, obviously, Sudan and South Sudan.
Yeah.
And so we've lived in Nebraska ever since, and that's where I played high school ball, got recruited, and that's kind of led to my college career.
I've got one more question. How many college coaches did you play for in your travels? And can you tell us about each one of them, what you liked about them? You don't have to say what you didn't like, but what was cool about playing for the different coaches that you got to play for?
So we'll start with Patino at Louisville. Fiery, fierce, extremely intelligent, used a lot of curse words, but also one of the coolest dudes when it came outside of basketball. Because that's the other thing I'll always say about Coach Pitino is like people always saw one side of him. That was him cussing us out, sometimes warranted, sometimes just because he might have felt like cussing us out. But that's probably what led to him being so great. But yeah, I mean, he really cared about us. He always had our backs. You know, he would always check in about how things were going. You know, she did a lot of. We had class checks. You weren't in class, you know, but it wasn't like a class check every day. It kind of throw you off. Check, you know, once every 2 days to see if anybody's not going to class, and if you didn't, you were running at 5 a.m. I had a couple of those, but it was like, you know, we had a late road game, got an 8 a.m. class, you know what I mean, get back at like 3 or 4 in the morning, get 3 hours, gotta go to 8 a.m. So I definitely had a couple of those, but not too many. So just seeing how he can be so intense on the basketball court, so precise, so exact, and fierce about it, but then also just be a completely different individual who also very, very much cared about, you know, what was going on outside of basketball. Then I went on to play for John Thompson at Georgetown, running the Princeton offense, which is actually a very, very good offense to run. Really enjoyed that. Very, very kind individual. He was not a yeller at all, complete opposite, but just very calm, cool, collected. So really enjoyed playing for him. Enjoyed the guys who were able to come around Georgetown, the AIs, the Jeff Greens, the Roy Hibbert, you know, all those guys. And then also having his dad there every single day. Don Thompson Sr. was pretty cool. He was at every practice. He'd be kind of sitting in his chair on the side, acting like, almost looking like he fell asleep. But if you ask him a question, he'll know exactly what happened the whole practice and be able to tell you. So that was pretty cool. And then SMU, you know, so I actually got recruited by Coach Brown when I was in high school with his staff, but he was no longer there when I got there. But his assistant, that was his assistant when they were recruiting me in high school, got the head coaching job, Coach Jankovic. He was adapting to modern basketball of, you know, playing 5 out, and, you know, everyone should be able to handle the ball. Everyone should be able to shoot it. So really enjoyed playing in that system because it gave me a lot of freedom, gave me a lot of options to play a lot of different positions and showcase different talents that I may not have been able to. Really enjoyed Dallas. Dallas is very, very nice. Enjoyed DC also. And then back here playing for Coach Mack. One of the best, game planners that I've ever been around. Putting a game plan together as far as how to beat a team, their weaknesses, you know, and kind of what we needed to do to execute to be able to pull out a win or at least give us a chance down the line in the game. Great guy. His family is around. Family's amazing. You know, did a lot of nice things as far as, you know, dinners and, you know, took us to the lake, you know, just team bonding stuff to kind of get guys close and just trying to get that time to be able to be around as a team and also be around our coach and just building that relationship. So.
Akoy and Matt too. I don't think neither one of y'all were at Louisville at the time, but when Louisville won the title in 2013, and then it gets taken away, what's y'all's opinions on how that worked or how that happened? And I mean, I'm going to say you're not going to agree with the decision of taking the banner down and everything, but just elaborate on your opinions on all that. Right.
I mean, it was definitely hard. I mean, my sophomore year was the year where we got we postponed from going to the tournament. We self-imposed a ban, and then my senior year was the FBI thing. So it was definitely an interesting experience, to say the least, when I was there. And the banner did come down. I think that was actually last year when the banner came down. But anyways, yeah, just to see, I mean, obviously, you know, we don't agree with the decision, and we think that, obviously it shouldn't have ever come down. And even with, kind of my example I like to compare it to is the Houston Astros type thing, where the Astros were able to win a World Series with actual sign stealing and knowing what the next pitch is, and things like that were able to very much enhance their game, and able to, you can tell in some of their stats and stuff like that, they were better at home. But, it is what it is. And, the NCAA made the decision, and, everyone knows who won that year, though. It's something you can't erase from your mind. You're never going to convince me that we didn't win that year.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I needed to give Matt a chance. Otherwise, I was going to use curse words and all that, because I think he had to go into this huge, problematic rant. But it's just ridiculous. Like we talk about the NCAA tournament and this experience for guys, and it's a chance for guys to build stock. And, winning 6 games in a row is extremely, extremely tough. Playing in different environments, guys get hurt. So you're facing so many different obstacles and through this journey to win this national championship, and then to get it taken away with basically not concrete facts, not the actual truth, not doing the due diligence, and then to put the banner down and say this game doesn't exist. It's just, there's a lot of people out there who try to erase history, but at the end of the day, history is either going to repeat itself or it's going to find a way to come back about. And so, like Matt said, like, you Google what was the score of the 2013 national championship game, what's going to come up? Louisville having more points than Michigan. So there's no real way to ever get rid of it. I'm not a fan of the NCAA. They have a lot of work to do to fix things. Are they ever going to do it? Who knows? I hope they crumble and burn before they figure it out, because they have used and made millions and billions off the backs of kids for 100 or so years now, or however long they've been around, and see that they figure it out now, or they're going to start losing players, and guys are going to maybe not want to play college basketball and stuff like that. It's just little things that it's just, it's just ridiculous where we can be held on a different standard than, I don't want to say regular individuals or just, kids who are just students. Like I remember hearing, like, if I was walking on campus and someone wanted to offer me $1, they would have to be willing and able to offer any other student athlete or everyone who attends that university $1 also. So we've got 34,000 students. That individual has to give all 34,000 students $1 in order for it to be equal. Now, if a regular individual student who at the university would walk by and a guy gave him $1, it'd be no issue. So it's just the fact that these kids bring in all this money to these universities, and, at the end of the day, like, I love getting my education. Like, I used every single bit of it. I got 3 degrees out of it. Like, I'm happy I was able to use it. Obviously, it came due to injuries or whatever, but I used my scholarship to be able to get my education. But it's also like, you also lose out on, all this other potential income which you could have made, or, like, you got to think, if you look at the large percentage of student athletes, a lot of them come from impoverished backgrounds with practically nothing, with the hope of possibly, making it professionally to help their families. And there's all these rules and stuff like that. But, sorry to go on this rant, but just kind of back to the NCAA, making a ruling like that is just beyond me. It's appalling. And that's something they're going to need to fix. They're going to need to start adjusting to the modern times, or, things just not going to work out for them. I say all the schools just break out and start their own conference. That's my idea about it, because they definitely can do it. Why not? But yeah, sorry about all that.
No, you're
good. I have one more question.
Go ahead.
Sure.
Okay. So I don't know if you guys know or not, but Alic from time to time brings on these brackets.
Right.
And a couple of them's been kind of suspect, okay? One of them was a country music bracket, and the other one was the 16 greatest coaches of all time. So me and Scott being UK guys, you being Louisville guys, I got to know, would you have John Calipari as a 15 seed in your coach's bracket of the greatest of all time?
So obviously you're the UK fan, correct?
I am. Yes, I am. Yes, sir.
Okay. So Calipari, I'm going to always give him a lot of credit because, one, it takes a lot to recruit these kids. Two, it takes a lot to take, 8 different egos and put them together, young guys with big egos, put them together, put them on the floor, learn how to play together. They end up getting hot towards the end of the year because these young guys are starting to figure it out. That's great to do. He's very open with his guys. If, they can go be first-round picks, top 10 picks, he tells them to go. He doesn't hold them back. Those are all things I will always applaud him on. Now, he's been there. He's been at Kentucky for about how long now?
Would be his 11th year, right, Scott?
So this is going to be
10 or 11.
So this is going to be his 11th year. He has one national championship. You've had the Devin Bookers of the world, the Malik Monk, obviously the Anthony Davis. You won't count that because they won it. The John Wall, the DeMarcus Cousins, the Alex Porchers, the Willie Cauley-Steins, guys who, are doing very well in the NBA, and you've only produced one championship. Now I got to look how many Final Fours or Elite Eights he's been at, but, this comes with the territory of pretty much getting all the talent. Like, winning in the regular season, especially at the university like Kentucky, it's either basically you got to start winning more national championships, or you'll start having an issue, especially if we're going to continue getting all the best guys in the country every year. You've coached them enough now so you know what works, what doesn't work. You know how to get them to play together. So after 11 years and only one national championship, if he was at 2 or 3, I would argue that very much that he wouldn't be a 2 seed. A 15 seed. I wouldn't even put him at a 15 now. I'd put him a little higher. But I guess that's just kind of the one thing with having been there 11 years, getting all the talent, being known as Kentucky, as that blue blood, having all these guys, but only having had produced one national championship in that time span.
I like it.
Scott?
So I said some nice things about UK, so
I appreciate that.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Shot clock violation against Wisconsin killed us. I think we're going to go undefeated that year, but damn it, we didn't. The dang shot clock was a foul out. But anyway, don't matter. That also shows – I agree with a lot of things you just said. I think they should have won probably at least one more. I also think this. It also shows the randomness of the tournament because you don't know who gets hot at the right time. That's what makes it, in my opinion, the greatest sporting event every year. And I know a lot of people like baseball and football and all that stuff, pro stuff. That's not what I like. I like all that, but there's nothing like March Madness because no matter what, anybody that's pretty dang good can get hot and win it. And that's why I'm not surprised. They won 1. It could have been 3, but it wasn't, and that's the way it is.
Right. I definitely think he should at least have 1 or 2 more. But like you just said, I couldn't agree more with that statement. It's the greatest. I still think it's the greatest event in sports. If I can keep playing in it every year, I would. But like, for example, as far as someone getting hot. So my freshman year at Louisville, we were in the AAC. We played UConn 3 times. I think one game we might have beat them by like 45. There's UConn fans. I don't think I'm exaggerating. I'll have to look, but I know it was like at least a 35-point win for us. Like, we demolished them. We played them 3 times. We probably beat them by a combined like 90 points or something crazy. UConn wins the national championship that year. They got hot. They got hot and won 6 in a row. Like, that's how it goes. That's how it goes.
When you think about that Loyola Chicago team a couple years ago, and then you think about Butler when they had Gordon Hayward and nobody knew they even wore at the time, and they make it to the national championship, and
I think they made it twice.
Yeah, they were.
Gordon Hayward almost hit the half-court shot that went in and out, but then they ended up going back.
Yeah, it's just
either a Final Four or a national championship not too long ago after that.
Well, that's just the greatest part about March Madness. You just never know. I mean, think about even Liberty, who we were talking to last night, 2 nights ago, Scotty James. He was talking about when they won their first round matchup. I can't remember who they beat, but then he said he went up against Virginia Tech, and he said if they would have played their game plan, they would have moved on to the Sweet 16. So that's just the greatest part about it, is you just don't know what's going to happen.
That's why all these people say, "Oh, you can get $1 billion if you get a perfect bracket," because they know damn well they nobody will get a perfect bracket.
Scott, Todd, y'all have anything else?
No, I think I'm done. It's been a pleasure talking to you guys, and I wish you guys the best of luck with your business. And I'm looking forward to keeping up with this bracket. I hope the guy from Liberty wins it all and shocks the world. That'd be great.
Thanks a lot, guys.
Yeah,
we appreciate you guys. Thank you guys for having us, man. That was a pleasure. That was great. Thank you.
Yeah, that was a blast. Thank you guys.
Yeah, go ahead and plug your Twitch channel and everything for everybody to come tune in this weekend and up till the 29th.
Yeah, so it's twitch.tv/primetimesports or primetimesports.live are the 2 websites you can watch on. And then for all our social media, it's Primetime Sports with a 0 instead of the O in sports. And that's where you'll be able to get all the updates on the games, matchups, things like that.
And we'll post the bracket also later on.
Yeah,
today.
and the bracket will be posted today. So make sure you guys are following those.
So Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, all that. So be looking out.
Awesome.
All right. Well, we've had a great show.
Akoy Agau a follow at Akoy Agau, because I also be posting something, so you can go give that a follow too. At Akoy Agau on Instagram and Twitter.
All right.
All righty. Thank you so much.
Yep.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Yep. We'd like to thank Matthew and Akoy for coming on the show today, and make sure you go tune into Primetime Sports throughout the next couple weeks, and hopefully the Cards will come out with that national title. I hope.
Absolutely.
Yeah. We will return Tuesday with Richard Gatewood, the head coach of Aspire Academy's post-grad team in Louisville, Kentucky. But until then, this has been the Fab Four Podcast.